wanted to sign.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, hey, maybe I'll check you out in a few minutes."
When
then
you,
I know you guys had something to do.
You'll explain better to me what I mean.
when you came over here and wanted us to sign a petition, it made me think of a few questions. So I want to know, what's your nationality on your father's side before I...
My father's side, oh gosh, it's so mixed. It's mixed European.
Your father and your father's father. That way we could cut out some of the idea of mixture. Like, what does that line follow? What's your father and your father's father?
There's a French Canadian.
French Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's sort of the predominant on that side.
So
the Irish on the other.
Okay. So we got police officers, the original police officers, I mean, the Irish, right? AKA the men that went and caught the slaves when they ran away. And then we got the French Canadian. Isn't that the party that was responsible for conquering the natives that were up there in Canada before you guys came?
Probably.
You want us to sign a petition for what's going on in China, and I wanted to ask you, what are you doing to reverse what's going on amongst the blacks, the Hispanics, and the Native Americans? Like, why should we take any interest in what's going on in China when you guys have yet to clean up the mess that you created over here?
So I don't have a direct answer for that, other than I think within.
Well, the direct answer would be, what have you done? So that.
My thing is this: everybody that I come in contact to, regardless of what their race is, I just try to treat them like we're all the same. So I don't look at it like, hey man, you're this race, so
you take it like
you're this race, so I want to treat you differently. I feel like the best thing that I can do in the world for anything that has been done wrong in the past is be a good example right now, going forward, and also for my kids too. Show that example, live that example, show that I'm in this world, that I will treat everybody the same. I'll align with anybody who wants to work with me, and I'll back up anybody who who's in a good position, or like, hey, they need help, or if they're at work and like you're getting treated poorly, maybe it's due to race. Well, they're doing the right thing. I'm going to back them up. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. You got to do what's right because it's the right thing to do.
So let me not lose you.
Yeah.
So you acknowledge that there's a mess, and your way of contributing to bettering that is by treating everybody the same?
So I look at the things that have gone on. I know that there's a history with things that have happened, especially when I've worked. One of my friends, he retired. He told me a lot of what it was like to grow up in Alabama being black. He's about 60 now. He gave me a lot of detail about the things that he had gone through. And actually, it hurt to hear his story, the fact that he was treated poorly by other people just because he brought his blood. Seriously? Seriously? I mean, to me, I look at us as all creation of the divine. So why would, because you're from the divine, we all come from the same, like, cosmic universe, if you will. And so why, knowing that you were created also by the divine, why would I even think about that? Why would I even treat anybody like that? To me, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, we could touch on that, but that's more of a philosophy.
But I guess what I'm saying is that philosophy is also a guiding light for me, because it's like I look at that and it breaks. If there's anything passed on to me culturally that was negative, that says, "Oh man, hey, this guy right here, be against him." To me, this is like this blasts that open. It says, "Man, everybody should be treated with compassion and understanding." And so, everybody that you come in contact with, treat them that way because they deserve that. They are a sentient being as you are too. So show that kindness. The compassion is for everyone. It's not just for certain people.
So it's more so just about being kind. This is not an attempt to rectify the mess that you're glorifying.
I think the best.
Yes or no?
So compassion can change wherever it is. Where we are, the best thing I can do about anything that's happened before is be the best person I can right now to everyone.
To everybody.
Yeah.
So this is my problem with your argument.
Yeah.
I'm trying to clarify with you what exactly you're saying. What it sounds like you're saying is that you want to lay out equality to kind of just make sure that you're not continuing the problem. What I've asked you is what you're doing about cleaning up So not going forward, what do you, like, because before you go forward, sometimes it's best to clean up what was left behind, right? Even with construction, on a construction site or with a demolition site, before the construction, you have to clean up the debris before you start to build. Otherwise, you're going to mess with the balance of the structure that's coming. You're going to make it so that the environment that you're building on isn't conducive to a sound structure, right? So I'm asking you, what are you doing to clean up? It's not a trick question. You're doing something about it or you're not, but that's what I'm trying to find out.
I think that is cleaning things up.
Okay, so let's
So
talk
I don't agree with your point, because here's my point is this. My point is that the best point forward is right now, and the best sermon is an example. And if everybody sees me as that example, then, and if I'm a good person, then other people look at that as good behavior too, and they go, hey, we like this guy. He cares about everybody. And they begin just to, if everybody started just from there right now, going forward, just that, this stuff's gone. It doesn't exist. If everybody just operates that way, it's over. It's over. There's no, everybody has shined light on it because everyone's saying, hey, you know what? That's not right. Why would they treat me poorly? That makes no sense at all. Why would I do that? Why would I do that?
Poorly. That's a different concept that we're discussing. The idea of poor versus good, that kind of steps outside of the realm of equality, creating an environment where everybody's equal. Poor, great, right? Equality is like this. So now, the people that have been treated poorly, the people that have had their entire heritage stripped away from them, their language, all of the customs, all of the things that were passed down from generation to generation by mouth and by book, dealing with the libraries in Alexandria. You guys weren't necessarily a part of that. It was more so the Muslims that did that. But these are things that have happened. Your hand in it was taking people, kicking them out of their land, making it impossible for them to eat, destroying the buffalo, things like that. Now these people are destitute even today. How is treating them exactly the same going to restore what's been done? See, there's a confusion between equality and equity. Say you're a tall man, right? Say I used to be a tall man, but you cut my knees out from under me, so now I got less leg to deal with, right? And not only are you a tall man, but you created a society where you have a platform that you can stand on. Now let's keep the fact that you're a tall man. I used to be a tall man. This concept is important. You have a platform to stand on. Should your first action to be to give me the same platform that you have to stand on? And if you give me the same platform that you're standing on, will I be able to see the way that I should be able to see? Will I be restored to the stature that was taken away from me when you cut my legs out from under me? That's what happens when you give equality and you treat everybody like they're
if you give a structure, it doesn't mean that people are going to even go and run after it. Even if you clear everything out, even if you give everybody the right way in, there will always be people that say that's not good enough. I need more. You know what?
That's why
I need more from you. I need more from you. That's not
but
right.
That's why everybody's not always a part of the new. Everybody from the everybody that was a part of the original Greece when the Roman Empire became integrated and it became the Greco-Roman Empire, there had to be people that were taken out of the mix before the Greco-Roman Empire could start to exist in the way that it did. And then even furthermore, Rome, they had to end up taking it. And what we're dealing with is a world where things are always progressive. Nations are always coming in and out of rulership. We're living beings that need to have reciprocity. When you deal with things like this, you can't just say that, oh, everybody's not gonna. I mean, that's the obvious. But how can the world exist in the way that the white man paints?
But the thing is,
hold on, let me finish.
Go ahead.
So the white man paints this picture like if everybody just treats everything like everything's the same, and and everything and everybody's just equal. How is the world actually going to be that better place the white man says it could be? When nobody's being restored what's been taken unto them. This is a hypocrisy. Where the white man says he's about justice, he's created a criminal justice system. A black man can steal from somebody, a white man can steal from somebody and possibly be prosecuted for doing what? Stealing. But we're not going back and we're not cleaning up what's been done before time. And there's an ideology behind that allows the injustices. You guys feel like, okay, my forefathers stole from your fathers. That was done in the past. Let's leave it behind. But going forward, I'm going to pretend that there's justice. But there's something that we deal with in this society called a statute of limitations. There's no statute of limitations on murder, yet you guys get away with murder every day. What do I mean by getting away with murder every day? You guys are still within the statute of limitations of murder, which doesn't end, and nobody's being punished for it. We're not getting reparations for our pain. You guys get to say, well, everybody should just be treated alike. Everybody's forefathers were not destroyed off of this land. Everybody's forefathers did not get put on slave ships. Come over here, build this land up, and make you guys trillion-dollar industries for you guys to even live off of today. Right? And then we're still eating the scraps of this land like we didn't contribute our own blood, sweat, and tears. So how is treating everybody the same going to make for a better tomorrow? You've depleted my refrigerator. You've depleted my cabinets. You've estranged me from my heritage. You've told me that the only hope that I have is to hold your hand. If you can't beat them, join them kind of mentality. How does that improve things for my people tomorrow? That's what I'm asking. How is that justice?
You raise a really good question.
I do.
Yeah.
And now I want to ask you something. Are you a man of justice?
I mean, like I've explained, I live in a way that I show my kindness and tolerance to everybody.
I definitely get your explanation. That's not something that escapes me, but I want to know, are you a man of justice? Because look, you're trying to end communism in China. What does that have to do with you, for example? I'm just trying to, I'm gonna understand you a little bit more.
Sure, no problem. With the virus.
With the virus. But
Yeah, it was
the white man's virus, though. So
hold on. Let's leave that out. Let's leave that alone for a second because you asked why. The virus was hidden for months, and as a result, that information wasn't able to get out, and then more people died that didn't have to die. So that could have been my family. That could have been.
this is a good explanation.
You know,
So you're saying the virus was hidden by the Communist Party, so that's kind of, and that they hid it, kind of creating like a optimal amount of destruction by hiding it. Like,
Yeah, you know, the other thing too is I practice a meditation called Falun Gong, and I've been doing this for a long time in the Communist Party. Not only kills people that practice this in China, but harvests their organs. And, you know, if your kidney goes bad, you need one, you can probably go to China and get it in 3 weeks. So these are the people that are the same faith as myself that are being killed. And I'm in a more comfortable environment. The least I can do is help with events like this, help to raise awareness. You know, I mentioned the other gentleman, our senator has finally supported human rights towards people that practice Falun Gong in China. It took such a long time to do that. And so this is a battle that I fight, and you know, you can't spend every moment fighting every type of battle. It's not possible. You're probably picking a certain type of battle that is close to you, that you have felt impacted by.
that matters.
It matters, exactly. And so this is one that you've taken on your life, and you know, you pose the question to me, hey, are you man of justice, are you this, are you that? And this is because this is something that you want to see rectified. From your perspective, you're like, hey, you know what, this is not right. We need to change this. And you, to use your words, I think you are trying to be a man of justice in this regard.
No, period. Just
Yeah.
in entirety. Justice is justice.
Yeah, and I will be the first to admit that I can't fight possibly every battle. So the one thing that I can do is the battles that I'm not fighting is at the very least not add to them, and to go a little bit step further is to live by that example now, like I mentioned earlier, of that kindness, because there's only one me that can't do it all. That doesn't mean I don't want you or any of you guys nobody to get hurt. Why would I ever want to see anybody get hurt just because of the race? Think about that for a second. I mean, like, I'm gonna go against you because you're of a different color, you're of a different country, your ancestry is from a different nation altogether, and as a result, I'm gonna go after you. That's just so stupid. I don't understand that mentality. I don't get it. Why would anybody do that? Why would anybody do that?
That sentiment, I share that sentiment, right? But here's the problem. I'm going to bring this whole thing full circle. I'm going to recap and make sure that you understand this. You share a certain practice that people are being persecuted for practicing. And the communists' hand in spreading the disease that's going around right now. That is a bone. That in entirety is the bone that you have to pick with the Communist Party.
At this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who brought smallpox over here and destroyed hundreds of thousands of people with smallpox? Was it the Europeans?
I think so.
When did they ever get payback? This was an essential part of conquering the natives of this land. You get to live here. You get to be in that comfortable space that you describe, when you consider what the Asians are going through that are given under the reign of the Communist Party.
Yeah.
So the reason that you're in this comfort zone, in this land, is because you brought smallpox over, right? Whatever reason that they had for releasing that disease, if they actually did, I'll say, there had to be some reason in terms of warfare, right? Maybe a financial reason why they did what they did. But how hypocritical is it for you and your people to put a hand in something that's going on all the way up there for spreading a disease and persecuting people because of their practices when you're doing the same? All the way back to Alexander the Great, what you guys did was told my people that we couldn't keep the Shabbat anymore, told my people that we couldn't circumcise our children anymore, and what else did you teach us? You taught us that we all had to be one people, and that the southern kingdom of Israel couldn't proclaim themselves to be Jews anymore. Then fast forward, here in this land, you guys took away the ancestral practices of the natives. You stripped the so-called Africans of their language and made them speak your language so that you could understand.
I want to say something. This might.
I want to.
I don't agree with your use of like. You're putting me into that. I didn't do that. I'm sorry.
But you're not doing anything about it now. And this is why I'm saying I'm bringing it full circle. The reason why I'm saying that it's you is because you will put a hand in what's going on with China, right? Because there's practices that they are being persecuted for, right? You're not being persecuted. They're being persecuted in China for practicing these customs. But your forefathers have come over here and they have destroyed an entire people. They have reduced the Native American population down to about 1%, give or take. Right? You have killed over 50,000 Africans to and fro in the slave trade, right? But you do nothing about it. You're saying that what's important to you, what touches you, that's what you're going to stand and fight for, right? But you are literally benefiting day in and day out off of what your forefathers did, and you're not relinquishing any of that land, any of those rights, to give them back to the people that were stolen from. So in a sense, what you're saying is it's okay what happened to these people. I only have a problem with the things that bother me. It doesn't bother you that your forefathers did these things. So what you're doing is
actually,
hold on, let me finish. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. So essentially, what you're doing is sweeping what your forefathers did under the rug when it comes to justice, right? Right? When it comes to justice, you say you don't know if you can say you're a man of justice. I might agree with that, but what I'm trying to do is give you an opportunity to see what justice looks like. Here we go. If someone kicks you out of your house, throws a party, right? That's wrong. You can agree. So if someone kicks you out, throws a party, they're wrong for kicking you out, throwing a party. Now, the guests that will get to come to that party, they know that people that you were kicked out of your house, aren't they equally as wrong for partaking in the refreshments, dancing, and music, and not trying to at least get you back in your house? Aren't they equally wrong?
I know where you're going. I know where you're going, and I understand why you're asking that question, and I can actually feel your frustration.
But are you going to answer the question? That's the question. Isn't that wrong? Yes or no? it's not like I'm going to stone you for telling the truth.
Well,
but we have to have this conversation.
But the thing is also is that it's unfortunately it's not black or white. And why?
But we're not talking about that.
But but I'm not talking about race. I just mean just like one way or the other.
Right.
It's not always one way or the other. And why is that? Because if you don't have a connection to that thing, if you don't feel it, if you don't understand it somehow, are you wrong?
Okay, let me get this. So in response to my question of if someone kicks you out of your house, throws a party in your house, invites guests over to your house, those guests know that you are kicked out of your house. It depends on if they're connected to it or not.
But if we go with that,
I mean, I'm asking you if that's what you're saying.
No, but that's what it sounds like you're saying.
What I'm saying, I'll clarify what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that your forefathers kicked us out of our house, right? Not only did you kick us out of our house, but you threw a party in it, told all your friends to come over. Your friends knew what you did to establish a place for them to come meet up and party, right? So you in your form today, you would represent the guests that have been invited to this party. Your forefathers did it, right? You didn't do the kicking out, but you're in here partying and you know what happened to get it to where you have this place where you can come kick it and party, and where you can invite your children to come kick it and party. You are wrong for that, is what I'm saying. For not doing anything to say, look, party's over, people were kicked out of here, people lived here, they bought groceries not too long ago, we've eaten their groceries, we kicked their dog out, we've damaged their property, right? We're not going to go back to where we came from. You know, at some point, you did come to understanding that your forefathers were a part of inviting you to this party and only being able to do so by kicking people out of this house. That's what I'm saying. Now, you know that these things happen by your own admission. You know these wrong things have happened. What have you done to end the party and get these people back in their house? And this is what comes full circle. It talks about whether you're a man of justice or not.
Yeah, so
I just want you to admit that you're not a man of justice in that you're not.
well, I mean,
To be honest. Look, what we're doing is teaching that the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. And that not only were we slaves at one time, but we were supposed to rule this world out. And that we will in the future. But what's going to happen is there's going to be a righteous judgment from the Most High God that comes down on your people and the other nations that had a hand in our destruction. Look, Numbers 35 and 33 says, ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are. And you guys have polluted this land. How did you do it? It says, for blood is defileth the land, and the land that cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Meaning there's no hypocrisy that you can do here. There's no sweeping it under the rug. There's no treating anybody as equals or signing a petition against the Communist Party in China being a goddamn hypocrite. Again, just to restate that, there's none of that you are going to do that's going to be able to change the fact that what went around has to come around for you guys.
what goes around does come around, and I've actually experienced that firsthand myself. And I understood this principle pretty clearly.
So
when I started, well, hold on, please.
You agree with that?
Let me talk, please.
You agree with that principle?
So let me explain.
No.
No, you're not giving me the opportunity.
You're right.
You're right. I actually feel like I'm about to agree with you.
I don't know if you're about to agree with me. Look, Isaiah 14, right? Because what goes around does come around. Revelation chapter 13 says that he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. And since your forefathers are here, you're going to have to be the one to pay the piper. When somebody runs out on the tab and you're the one sitting there in the restaurant still, you have to pay the tab.
And that could be the case. That could be the case.
So Isaiah 14,
I don't know when it's. I don't know what will come around or what will come around. But I agree with you. What comes around does come around. And if there's an injustice, it's set right. Why? Because my understanding is that in this universe, let me back this up. At a certain point, everything's going to get rectified.
Yeah.
And
so you do believe that what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
You said that makes sense.
Yeah.
So are you just riding it out till the wheels fall off then? Because, you know, the Bible also says that blesses he that blesses thee and curses he that curses thee when it pertains to the children of Abraham and the children of Israel. So why not actually make an effort to reverse what your lineage is responsible for? In Buddhism, is there a such a thing as reincarnation?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure I understand that. So when you deal with reincarnation, this is a broadly Eastern philosophy, and there's different understandings on how it works. In the Hebraic concept, which you are a Hebrew, Edomite, the Hebraic concept of it is that when we die, we're born again later on in our generations. This is something that can be scientifically understood as the seed of man comes from the mother, starting in the brain. Right? So you are a continuation of something that you laid out before in another life. Just energy coming back and inhabiting the rest of the integration of integration. Long story short, in some sense or another, you are responsible for what's going on here today. Yet, you believing that what goes around comes around, you know, you would rather not actually make a direct stance against what you were responsible for in the past via your ancestors. You would much rather poke your nose in things that don't pertain to you. Well, why is that?
This is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing, and this is actually what it feels like I am supposed to be doing.
So
and I don't have guilt for not getting so behind it and putting myself out there. Do I feel like
you don't have to feel guilt?
No,
I mean, being honest is key.
No, but the thing is, will I go and my honesty leads me to this, which is I feel that I'm doing the things that I am meant to do to help bring a positive change in this world. And so with that, I am part of the positive change, because if we as a society are following what we feel is our let's just call it a mission on this planet. Our mission to do the things we are meant to carry out, and we are living according to that mission, then we are doing the thing that we were sent here to do.
Wow.
And so
that was spiritual what you said. You get what you said? This is what's crazy about what you're saying. You were put here to be the devil. You know what devil means? Because a lot of people hear it and think it's derogatory. The word devil means deceiver, right? And then the word Satan means adversary. So there's two aspects of this that I'm going to touch on. Satan is a spirit, right? And he has a tool that he uses in the earth to carry out his function, which is to deceive, which is to destroy, which is to be adverse. Your people were created for the purpose of being deceivers and being destroyers. And what you have just said to me, it really is reflective of your purpose on the earth. You might not think, oh, I'm here to be a devil, but this is how you guys do the devilish things that you do. You conquer a land in the name of Christianity, right? You're able.
This is my wife.
So you have conquered a land in the name of Christianity, which you guys do stand on in one hypocritical way or another. And now you're looking at a whole landmass that's practicing their religion that they may be willing to conquer in the name of. And you're saying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hypocritical mindset and I'm going to destroy what they got going on by any means necessary. This is something that you guys have been doing.